yours, Chris Rene.
What's up?
What's up?
Welcome.
You're like
How are
mad
you?
chill, mad laid back. I like it.
I'm good. Thank you. Life is beautiful.
Life is good. I mean, a lot has happened in the last year. I mean, X Factor is all about creating a global superstar. And as we know, you just come back from New Zealand, where your album has hit the top of the charts. Congratulations, by the way.
You.
Were you welcomed as kind of like a conquering hero?
Man, felt like a king. You know, it's crazy going there. And like what happened was, I got off the plane and I went outside and there's fans hanging out and just want to take pictures. And this one girl, I signed her wrist and she got it tattooed that day.
What?
It's a trip, man.
What? I mean, you're telling us this like you're so nonchalant, like it's so casual about it.
Crazy.
But what an unbelievable experience to fly halfway around the world and get off the plane and have people celebrating your work.
Yeah, that's the blessing of music right there. Reaching people, touching people, and making them feel good. And basically, we're all together. You know what I mean? One big family.
That's right.
Love
Well,
life
you were
family.
out there promoting your major label debut, working with Mr. L.A. Reid.
Oh yeah.
So your album is called?
I'm right here.
I like it. I like how he says it. I'm right here. Where you at? I'm right here. All right, working with Mr. L.A. Reid, what is the difference between having him as like a mentor judge on the show and him as an executive producer in studio on your album?
I mean, the difference is there's a lot more freedom and creative control. Like, we share ideas and stuff, and it's cool because there's no limits what we can and can't do. It's for an album and for an artist like me with the history I got, it's like we just got to be real and put it on there, and that's what we were talking about.
You guys like super close now, buddy?
Yeah, I just seen him 2 seconds ago.
I love it.
Yeah, LA's the man, dude.
So, I mean, last season you were so open about your story, and a big part of that was your sobriety. And are you living up to the deal that you made with Simon on that first episode?
For sure. It was a deal with myself, and I'm glad that they are a part of my journey as well, and that we, Sony Epic now, so it's a beautiful thing. It's 18 months.
Yeah, that has to be amazing to
Congrats.
feel that like all of America was behind you in that decision, like we all are here supporting you. I know a huge part also was your sons, Elijah and Ryan. How is it being a dad and like balancing that between being fatherhood and being this huge superstar all around the world?
Man, it's crazy. It's a challenge, being out on the road and going to different states and not being there for the kids.
Yeah.
That's a challenge, but there is Skype, and so that's
Yes.
the good thing. We got Skype, so
Gotta
we get
love
to do that,
Skype.
and stay in touch with the family and make phone calls. I mean, it's beautiful. It's like I'm juggling. You know what I mean? I'm pretty good at it.
You figured it out?
Yeah.
What was it like going home after being on such a huge show and going home to Northern California, Santa Cruz, and for the first time? What was the response like? Were people welcoming you back with open arms?
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. I went back, and I'd just been gone for so long. I hadn't been there, and I'd been this whole new life, on TV, have fans, got people rooting for me, and it's a trip, man. It's a trip going back. A lot of love, a lot of beautiful, positive energy, man.
That is awesome. Well, what does it feel like to actually be back on this lot? Because you're back here, you're having deja vu. What do you miss about being on the X Factor?
It's really, really nice in here right now. It's super cool. What I miss getting on that stage was just the best part. Best part about being a performer and artist. That's the best part. I was just in there. I met a lot of the contestants, out for a second.
Oh, no.
Real cool people, and it's just cool to watch other people go through the same thing. Only a year later.
Speaking of those contestants, I mean, I imagine you've learned a lot in the last year traveling around the world. Is there one thing that you know now that you wish you knew last year, being in their place?
Being in their place.
Now looking back, you're like, would I have done it any differently?
I don't know. Everything happened perfectly how it was supposed to. I could think back and be like, maybe this, but you know what? No, everything was perfect.
Well, right before you came on, we asked some of our Twitter followers if they could hit us with some questions that they'd like to ask you, and we have one right here. Here we go. From @ChristianSod. Pre-show live question. All right. The question is, what's changed the most since being on X Factor?
What's changed the most is what I've learned through being with producers and writers. So now, kind of like it was a learning process. I've been making music and recording my whole life, but being with the big dogs was a new experience for me. So I learned a lot from them, from being in the studio with them. And I can't give you those secrets. I can just let you know I learned a lot,
Ah, after afterwards, I'm going to get the secrets. I'm going to get them out of you.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you again so much for being with us.
Right on.
We want to let you rest your voice because in just a little bit, Chris is going to be performing for the very first time, the very first performance on the Pepsi Preshow.
Yes.
We're going to send it back to a man we haven't heard from in far too long. We don't want to get lonely back there in the turnaround. And I think it's safe to say that right now he's anything but. Jim?